In this tutorial I'm going to show you a couple other features that you may want to pay attention to whenever you're starting to stack in different loops on different tracks here. Here all I've done is I've just toggled down the track 2. It's pre-named because I was previously working through the inserting these loops for setting up this tutorial. But I want to show you how to go ahead and add in some different loops and at least talk about some of the different issues that you might run across whenever you're trying to match up samples in time with other samples. Now remember, each sample that you drop in here, it's going to be adjusted by using its BPM parameter. For instance, let me go ahead and press F6 to insert this synth bass loop. And we'll go ahead and press F8 to select here. And you'll see that it's pretty much in time there, it looks like it. If I go to the beginning of the song and play it through, it sounds like it's in time. But if I wanted to go ahead and check this, I can go ahead and press the sample edit with this sample selected, and then press the F1 button and highlight the BPM measure here, or BPM range. And one thing that is really important about this BPM is that it has to match the sample that you're working with. If you have a one measure or one bar bass line here, you want it to be the exact BPM as the other samples that are in there. For instance, if we set this to, let's say, 120 instead of 132, and go ahead and exit out of this, you'll see that sample falls just a little bit short. Visually it's exaggerated. But if we play this, you can see that's out of time. So what you want to do is you want to make sure and press the sample edit, F1 for the sample parameters, and make sure that those are set to the same time. We'll go ahead and exit back out of this again. Let me show you another type of issue that you can run across, especially when you're working with vocals, or perhaps sometimes like guitar strums or leads or something. You're going to have a certain amount of one-shot samples that aren't necessarily loops, that aren't going to really fall into the category of a certain BPM because there might be a little bit of the sample left at the end or something like that. So you'll want to be able to compensate and adjust for those as well. A good example of those type samples would be, let me go ahead and press the F6 button to insert. A good example of those would be the background vocal sample that's on here. And I believe it's, there it is. We'll go ahead and press F8 to select this. And you'll see that this vocal sample, it's dramatically off from these measures. It's probably not going to line up. It's just a little bit over the the end of measure 2 there. You can see that. And if we go to the beginning of the song and press the play button, you can see that the vocal background section that's being sang doesn't match the beat of the song. And sometimes this is a little bit easier to work with if you're doing a recording, because you'd be hearing the beat of the song as you're playing if you were singing, for instance. But in some cases you may want to use a pre-recorded vocal section or vocal sample. So what you do is you'd select that sample, and let's say you want to get this to line up. We want it to come back just a couple measures, so it's the end of measure 2. So to do this, all we would do is, and would be decrease that BPM from the sample parameter. So press the sample edit button, and then we're going to press the F1 sample parameters, and we'll adjust this back to, let's say, 128, and go ahead and exit out of this, and you'll see that's moved back just a little bit more. You might have to jump backwards and forth and do that a couple of times just to get it exact. It looks like it's pretty close now. We can go ahead and press play and preview it. It sounds like the vocals are still just a little behind again. So what you do is you just go back and little by little adjust the BPM down. and work on getting that to match up there. You can see it's getting pretty close. It's probably, if anything, 1 or 2 BPMs off away from that. So that's a good way to adjust your samples in the sample parameters in order to fit and work together and play in the same time in your audio tracking.